We're back to talk about legal stuff yet again. Yay! 2311 in front row versus NASCAR. Part 20, 25, 40. I've lost track at this point. But they've had a lot of legal, mini battles. It's like you kind of got this war going on. You got all these battles going on leading up to the eventual who wins the war. So, a couple weeks ago, the teams lost the preliminary injunction that granted them the charters for the 2025 season until this thing got settled. Well, that got overturned, and then there was an appeal, and then there was an appeal to get a rehearing, and the rehearing got denied, meaning that 2311 and Front Row Motorsports would potentially become open teams as of Dover. Well, guess what? In 2 days, we're at Dover. So, as a result, we kind of had an idea of how this thing was going to go down, but then there was another little twist that 2311 and Front Row, they applied for a temporary restraining order and another preliminary injunction. Essentially what they did is they tried to block this other thing that would allow them to keep their charters. So long story short, they don't have charters. They're filing something else to get the charters back. Well, they have lost that again. So they are indeed going to be open teams for Dover and I believe Indianapolis. They had already kind of filled out the paperwork. There was a report on that because I'm assuming, or I guess there has to be some sort of paperwork if you're going to race as an open team versus a chartered team. They had filled that out just in case or in anticipation of whatever it may be. But here's some details. So they're going to be open teams for Dover and Indy. They were denied a TRO to keep NASCAR from revoking their chartered status. Then the judge noted that NASCAR said there won't be more open entries than spots in the Cup field, Dover and Indy. He said if that changes, he would immediately reconsider its denial of a temporary restraining order. That massively confuses me. Because yes, on surface level, you look at what a charter does, it locks you into the field. That's one of the biggest things it does. Yes, so that would mean if there were 42 entries to the Brickyard 400, that means 2 cars miss. That means potentially 2311 or Front Row, one of their 3 full-time cars could miss a race. So the judge would then switch up. If there's only 38 entries at Indianapolis, everyone makes it. There's no harm in terms of not having your charter, in terms of making the field. But what about the other ones? There's a massive financial hit. You get paid significantly less if you are an open team. There are sponsor implications. The driver contracts can be, they can activate exit clauses. So the difference of 42 cars entering the Brickyard versus 38 cars entering the Brickyard is simply the difference between getting the restraining order and not. Someone smarter than me, tell me why that makes sense, please. Thank you very much. Some other details we've got is that the judge had said that he didn't buy that they could lose Tyler Reddick as a result of losing their charter for Dover because they didn't leave already. The quote is, while plaintiffs' drivers could have realistically terminated their contracts with plaintiffs and or been lured away by other teams, that prospect appears unlikely at this late stage of the season, and plaintiffs have not offered evidence that any drivers are intending to do so in the next 2 weeks. So that's you got to admit, judge made a good point there. The realistic possibility of Tyler Reddick saying, you know what, we don't have a charter, I'm going to leave 2311 with 5 races until the playoffs. We're not even locked into the playoffs yet, but I'm going to bail. I'm going to leave. I'm going to just drop out right here, right now. I'm going to go race for, Live Fast Motorsports. BJ McLeod in the 78 car, baby. Once again, just throwing something out there. But technically that's a possibility now, but let's be realistic. Is Tyler Reddick really going to give up a 2311 car, a potentially championship-winning car, a car that he made the championship for in last year in the middle of a season? No, that's probably not going to happen. Now, in order to help their lawsuit, maybe, they could convince him to go out publicly and say, I'm going to leave if we don't get this charter by the end of the year. I'm going to leave. I don't know. I don't think he'd do that. All the drivers to 2311 and front row have seemed pretty loyal throughout this process, but I guess there are indeed clauses. Now, 2026 could be a different question. If they lose the court case in December, suddenly Tyler Reddick's a free agent, then, teams could try to pursue him away. But as of this moment for Dover and Indianapolis, once again, let's be real, Tyler Reddick is not going to leave 2311. So from that point of view, understandable. But the other one I'm still really confused about. The difference of making the field or not. Now, obviously, if they don't make the field at all, they don't get the money, they don't get the sponsorship, blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. Once again, I am of the opinion, I want this to be over. I want everyone to be happy and have fun and be nice to each other. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The two teams in NASCAR do not like each other right now in the legal court cases. So we'll see what happens next. Hopefully not a lot. Hopefully this can end soon. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. We got Dover this weekend, as I said, and anything else that happens, I guess we can talk about it if we have to.